Hello, good evening, and welcome to the LFC Daytrippers 5-minute update. You may be getting a deja vu. We're on again 2 nights in a row to talk about Kostas Tsimikas. But tonight we're joined by Chris Brack. Chris, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, mate. How are you?
I'm good. I love when transfers go through, Chris. I think we're all like kids at Christmas when it happens. You know, despite, I think if we're all honest, none of us know too much about our new sub left back, but it's still an interesting one. Some of the reports we're getting about Tsimikas are very, very interesting. We had Harry Simeo on, an Arsenal fan last night, and a Greek expert. He follows the Greek game, and he was very, very positive about Tsimikas, saying that.
Oh, lost Keith. So Keith saying we had Harry on from 90 minutes. From what we've seen, are you back, Keith?
I'm back. Yeah, sorry about that.
You're back. It's all right
there.
Poor
internet.
I saw the thing with Harry. Yeah, so I mean, the gist of it is he looks like a backup who plays similar to Robbo. So he almost feels a bit like not to dig him out, but when you see James Milner, you go, "Oh, it's not really what we want." At least we're going, "No, it's okay. It's a like for like," and it's not Albi Moreno, where people are going, "Oh, Jesus wept." So, I mean, look, my sole viewing of him is I saw his 2 games against Wolves. That's pretty much all I've seen of him. And the only thing that impressed me was the second leg where he kept Traore quiet. And Traore is hot and cold, but when he's hot, not many keep him quiet. You know, he gave Robbo a bit of a hard time. So, from that point of view, it's good. I can't quite get into all the hype around him because ultimately he's a backup left back, which is what we need. And it's not a criticism, but we're not signing Pete Roberto Carlos. We're not signing Robbo 2. We're signing the backup left back, which I'd rather have one than not have one. But it's not going to get me G'd up that much. You know what I mean? It's just nice to have someone who basically isn't going to cut on his right foot and slow things down. So I think he fits the profile, which is good. I was quite impressed that Liverpool seemed to move on from Jamal Lewis very, very quickly. It's like, we've got a budget, that's what we're sticking to. Norwich won't move, right? We'll go to the next lad. And went very quickly. I've not seen Liverpool go that quickly. That may be just because the summer's so short, they've just decided we can't be wasting time trying to haggle and, get it done. So perhaps they just decided, this is deadline. If we don't get it done, it's the next lad.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. There's a lot in the chat there giving me stick for not paying me internet and all that. Look, lads, these are the dangers of doing these live shows. They're only as good as the tools at me disposal, So it's totally my fault. You see, United have got their obligatory penalty in the game there tonight. If anyone was watching it, looked like Marshall handled it, but whatever. We've got a problem position solved because while he's not going to be a first team, he's not going to be a starter, right? But he is a left-footed player, and we do have a dearth of left-footed players. Our only options are Milner, as you've said, and Gomez playing there at the end of the season, or Nico Williams playing there at the end of the season. And, the right-footed player, it just doesn't work. You need that natural left-footer. And from talking to Harry last night, he was very, very complimentary about Tsimikas, that he is very much in the mould of Andy Robertson. Now, that's something that's very interesting because Jamal Lewis, right? We got linked with Jamal Lewis, and it made sense. A lot of people were calling for it, but Jamal Lewis, I think, is much more of a defensive fullback, and this can get people's backs up a bit. Defensive fullback and an attacking fullback. If your defender should be able to defend. But the way we play the game, it's not really focusing on a defensive fullback, is it? So it makes more sense to go with the more attacking option, maybe. And a lot of people are saying that he's the second choice for this backup role. But I don't know if I totally agree with that. Right, we went for Jamal Lewis. Norwich gave a silly price. The speed in which we moved on makes me think that we probably had the Tsimikas one lined up and we were just testing the water, throwing in another bid. Because I've seen it reported that this was a second bid that we got accepted. So when was the first one made? Do you know what I mean? It's all moved very, very quickly. And it just seems like they probably did have this one in the works and probably thought, right, we'll see if we can get Jamal Lewis, because it is a backup position at the end of the day. If we could get him any cheaper, well then fair enough, we'll try that. They couldn't, and they moved on from it and got the deal wrapped up very, very quickly, which is impressive. And it's how I like to see Liverpool doing the business. And it's what makes me think some of the other links that get dragged out, a certain Spaniard playing in the Bundesliga springing to mind, that maybe it's not the type of deal we go for. You know what I mean? If it's out there and it's so open and so public, maybe it's not one that we're interested in. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. But everyone's in the chat. If you're all in there, please like, please share, do the business. We get the show up. This, as you said, this is following on from our chat with Hardy last night. We had great interaction and we had great feedback in that show. And I just, like I said, just coming on tonight just to say, yeah, we've got the deal over the line and it is another option. So it's, as you say, it's not peak Roberto Carlos coming in to really...
It gives us an option. I mean, the other thing is, I think Andy Robson was doing this like 4 or 5 games last year, which is good. He's that consistent. But there were definitely times last year with Robertson and with Trent where you thought they looked leggy and you thought it would have been nice to have a fairly decent backup to bring on to go, we can rest him. Even Tsimikas, I think that's how you say it, just plays against the bottom 5, bottom 6 teams, home and away. That's all he plays. Do you know what? That's great. That's 12 games we can give Robbo a rest.
Yeah.
Or we don't have to worry about him too much. Or gives you a bit more of a chance in something like the FA Cup. Probably not the League Cup because the way the fixtures are, I looked at it, bananas. But FA Cup, you can actually put him in, and it doesn't look that much weaker. I think the only time now you see James Milner at fullback is if young Nico Williams has a bit of an off spell because he's a young player. They go in, they're going out of form because he's only a kid. But otherwise, it also then technically gives you strength to your midfield because now Milner is back to being used as the central midfield defensive option that we need. So it's horses for courses. Then it gives also. I think it probably makes Milner happy. I don't think he doesn't like left back. He does the job, but he doesn't want to be there, to be honest. So, in terms of being a Spaniard that we could get linked with, I'm intrigued that all the talk is on the German side, and it always keeps saying it's him that wants it. But there's part of me thinking, why would you make that so public if you didn't think Liverpool were interested? So I don't know whether Liverpool just being told keep quiet till Bayern are out of Champions League, which could be
that could well be the case. It really could, and it's just one of them that we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Stephen O'Connor throws in there, he does feel for Lewis as it was a once in a lifetime opportunity. From a selfish point of view, he's glad that we're getting someone just as good, if not better. I just want to talk about your opinion on what happens with Lewis, because a lot we done the show last night, as I keep referring to, and there was a lot of talk about Lewis, and not even the one with Hardy, we done one with the Coppish lads as well, and they were saying maybe Lewis is a bit hung out to dry. I think there'll be a lot of left back movement happening this season, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Lewis get a move into the Premiership. But it is a bit of a kick in the teeth for him, isn't it, that he had the opportunity to go to Liverpool, and while he's not going to be the starting left back, he could have won medals, he could have developed himself under Klopp for 2 or 3 years and hopefully won some silverware and moved on then at still a young age. Like, it is a bit of a sickener for him.
It is for him. I mean, unless he ends up moving to City, which, I'll be fair, well, look, listen, with City, anything's possible. They might buy him anyway. But realistically, whatever Premier League team he goes to, it's still a Premier League team, but it's not the level he could have gone to as being a backup. My money might go to Leicester. The talk is Chilwell is going to Chelsea, for a ridiculous fee. And
60 million or something.
Yeah, I think it did read Leicester were looking at Tsimikas.
They were,
as their replacement.
Yeah.
So the fact we took him, they may look at Jamal Lewis and look, Rodgers, despite how the season ended, one thing he's good with working with young players and improving young players. So, Lewis is probably the source of fullback they need. He's not quite Ben Chilwell, but he is an attacking fullback, which is the way they play. And that's kind of what we need as attacking fullback. We don't really need a defensive-minded fullback, because if we had that, people like Nathaniel Klein would still have been at the club. I mean, I would probably say, apart from about 5 or 6 teams, we're always on the ball. We're always on the front, and we're normally always in the opposition's final third. So we don't need as much defensive-minded players. That's just the way we play. City play the same. Man United and Chelsea do play that way when they're playing against certain levels of sides. So,
but it's funny that you mentioned Man U there. I mean, a lot of Man U fans will swear blind that Wan-Bissaka is the best fullback in the league, and they're entitled to that opinion. You know, he's a very good defender, but you really see when he's in the attacking third, the quality isn't there on his delivery. Now, from, again, I'm no expert on Tsimikas, but from looking on the YouTube compilations, we've all been hoodwinked by YouTube compilations in the past. But his delivery looks, exactly. His delivery does look good. It looks very similar to the Robertson type. You know, he gets up and he's sort of pinging balls across, low sort of whipped in balls. And it just looks like it could fit, you know. So as you touched on there, Robertson can afford to be sitting out a few games, and it shouldn't, hopefully, drop the level of our squad. So I think overall, you know, it's a good move by Liverpool. It's a sensible move. They done it very quick. As I said, it makes me think that they had this one lined up, and maybe Lewis was a second choice. But look, I don't know that, and I'm only guessing, and I'm not trying to pretend that, you know, at the Daytrippers we're not any sort of in the know types. We just give our opinion, and that's it. An interesting thing that people were, I don't know if you'd followed that on Twitter, they were sort of sitting on their hands waiting to see what number he'd be given, and there were people saying, you know, if he gets number 6, that's it. They go apeshit because they feel that number 6 is being held for Thiago.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that he took on 21, because it does leave up 2 and 6 as free numbers in the 11. Do you think Liverpool will do any more business in this window, or what do you? And when I say any more business, I mean significant business, that they would beat players. You know, look, the younger people mightn't understand the significance of getting the 1 to 11, but it is really they're the peak numbers. You want to be in the prime
they are,
numbers.
I said at the start of some of that, I expect Liverpool to, or I thought Liverpool should get 4 players in. Whether they will, I don't know. I thought backup left back, a Lovren replacement, although I'm changing mind. I'll come back to the centre back situation in a minute. Somebody for the front 3 who is better than what we have, and I was happy with them 3. And then because this Thiago stuff keeps going round and round and round, it was like, well, if we do get a Thiago who is a more dynamic, on the ball, creative player, that gives another string to our bow. In terms of centre back, I was thinking at first just to back up, you know, someone to be a 4th choice youngster, fine. The more I look into Matip and how much he's never available, in fact, he's available less than Lovren last year. I'm sort of feeling I think we need to find a centre back who could push Gomez. So if Gomez is out, he's the next player, and also Matip becomes 4th choice. Not because of his ability. It's just the lad can't stay fit. He's got the bit of the Chris Kirkland's about at the moment. In terms of when he gets an injury, it's always a bad one. You know, when he falls awkwardly, it's a broken collarbone. Or if he gets, like when he got kicked, he hurt his toe against Everton, and then we didn't see him again. That was it. He was done. And you were like, you know, where you hear like of Virgil playing with broken ribs, you know, Gomez has played with niggles. You know, everyone reacts differently to injuries, but I am slightly concerned that if one of Gomez or Van Dijk get injured, next cap is Matip, and you like Lovren, you can't guarantee he's going to be there. So now, who this other centre back is, I have no idea. I saw your show. We were linked with a young French lad there,
Evan Ndika.
Yeah, but isn't he 20?
Yeah, he's 20. Yeah,
20, highly thought of 20. But do we really want a highly thought of 20-year-old as 4th choice? Maybe we do. But then if Matip's injured, which let's be fair, he probably will be.
Yeah.
You know, throwing him in the big Premier League games, it does feel risky. You know, now listen, I could be wrong. He could be like the next Franz Beckenbauer, and I'll just be sat here looking really stupid, which I'm quite happy to do.
Yeah, to be honest, Chris, I think you're spot on there. I think it's a position that we do need. You know, reliability has been an issue at centre back for a few years between Lovren and Matip, and Gomez. Right, Gomez has maybe he's not injury prone. He's had sort of impact injuries rather than muscle bad injuries rather than muscle injuries, whereas Lovren and Matip seem to be out with, you know, a cold for 6 months. It's a tough one, you know what I mean? It's hard. We just need somebody that's going to be available. So, you know, it could be, as we've touched on, Mandy from Real Betis could be the sort of experienced Clavan type centre back, just who will be available, or it's going to be an Ndika or a Ozan Kabak from Schalke. that we will go for. And they're young, right, about 20, but can both sort of challenge, and I think could both challenge Gomez for the starting position myself, maybe in a year of settling into the Premier League. So that could be the way we go. But I agree with you. I think that could be 3 more, and I do agree on the positions as well. I think the midfield one will be a tough one because, you know,
I mean, midfield-wise, I think it's Thiago or we just don't get anyone.
Yeah, I agree with that, yeah.
And I think the Thiago thing is more, if it's a true link, and if it does happen, it's more the fact of Liverpool taking advantage of a contract situation, which is not a bad thing. We've done it plenty of times, because that is the only way we would ever go for someone like a Thiago, or be able to afford someone like a Thiago, is because we've seen a contract opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, the other one is it Aura?
Aura, yeah. Hossam Aura, yeah, be a great signing if you could get him over the line.
But again, how much money would he cost? He'd be the other midfield option.
And City are all over him. And that's the thing, you know, like we spoke about this last night, we're in an enviable position to not be needing these first team players while looking at replacements for the first team. And that's where Tsimikas again comes back into his own. He does look to have the proper pedigree. I mean, £11.7 million or whatever it was. It's a decent enough fee for a backup, and it tells you how highly they must rate him as well. You know, it's not like they've got a £2 million player and just see what hope for the best. They've spent a bit of money on this. It's a good sign. It's a type of signing I like. It's similar to Minamino. It's a no pressure. He's not expected to go in and hit the ground running. He's not expected to, you know, he's not a £20 million player even that you can say is a flop. He can settle in, he can do nice, and that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. So it's a nice signing by Liverpool. It's an under the radar signing by Liverpool. It's the type of thing I love seeing. So it'll be interesting to see what they do from now on in. So just your opinion. Do you think it's going to be a good move by Liverpool? Again, I want to go on to our Predictor race game, so I'm going to give you the first one. Predict for me. Is he going to be a good signing?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, I mean, as a backup fullback, Liverpool don't historically get too many wrong with the Klopp or Edwards, so I think he'll just be fine. He may even get cult hero status. These sort of players normally do that. You've never really heard of. I'm more interested in that at the moment to see who this attacking option is. Because the links I've seen so far don't excite me.
If it was me, I'd be looking at Milo Rashica off Werder Bremen, but I don't know if there's any good links to him. But again, it's Sarr for 40 million is getting mentioned. There's a lot of money, you know what I mean?
I might be wrong, but sort of inside me, it feels like 40 million is not a better option. It's not that Sarr's not a good player, but I feel like he's only had 1 year in the Prem. And look, he was great against us, both home and away. But Watford got relegated, and I don't remember seeing many highlights where you'll go, well, Watford were rubbish, but he was brilliant, quite consistently. I always feel like Sarr's unlucky. He probably needed another year in the Prem with Watford to really see what he could do. But look, maybe he's one of those players that maybe Watford's the wrong move for him. Maybe
consistency might have been what he needed. 3 managers or whatever, 4 managers in the season probably didn't help him. But like that's him. We might look to get him, but it does sound like a lot of money for that type of player. So we could have pushed the ball out and got Werner if we'd wanted to spend that sort of money, I suppose, couldn't we? But look, it's in there. We've Tsimikas done. Rashica on my brain because Dan is in the chat talking about him. We've Tsimikas done. It's an exciting one. Hopefully it'll work out. As I said, we've got a Predictor race game that's going. If anyone is hasn't signed up to it, you should really get on. It's going to be 50 predictions of how the season will pan out. Gav has done a video just explaining the rules, and we have the questions there for everyone just to put their predictions in. You can send them in to email predictor.ace@gmail.com, I think is the address. It's all on the video that Gav will have up there. We've also got we're looking to get our subscriptions up, so we're looking to hit the 3,000 mark. We're at about 2,600 at the moment. So when we get to the 3,000 subscribers to the channel, we're going to give away a Liverpool jersey with all the bells, whistles, badges, numbers, names, whatever you want on it. And it will be decided by Gav, and his golfing skills apparently are going to decide who wins that trophy. So if you haven't subscribed, if you're watching, just hit the bell icon, get the notifications for all the shows going forward, and you'll be in with a chance of winning the new Liverpool jersey. With the predictor race, we'll have a lot of prizes as well that we'll be sort of talking about over the coming weeks as well. A lot of people are interested in donating, getting the name, getting the names out there. It'll be very interesting. It won't just be one prize. There will be a few prizes, which is nice. So we'll get that up and running soon. So if you haven't got it, sign up. You don't want to miss out. Again, like the channel, I like the shows, subscribe, all that stuff, and you won't miss another show again. So, look, 20 minutes. This could be our longest 5-minute show ever, Chris. So we'll leave it there. Look, I want to thank you for coming on at short notice, and we just jump on to do this. So thanks very much for coming on and giving us that time.
No worries, mate. Thanks for having me.
No worries at all. It's great to have you. Even though I made a balls of me connection and went off, we came back. We got it back on the road. Thanks to everyone in the chat for coming on and just having a little listen to us again. If you can like and subscribe, that'd be great. I've been Keith. He's been Chris. We've been the Daytrippers. 5-minute update, and I'll bid you all good night.